On Sunrise, the school district in crisis. St. Helens school leaders launched their own investigation into a sex abuse scandal involving teachers. Plus, a warning following a cougar sighting in a city park where the big cat was spotted on trail cameras, and what you can do if you have a wild encounter. Your news starts now. Good morning, and thanks for getting up with us on this Saturday morning. I'm Libby Dowsett. We will get to your headlines in just a minute, but first, meteorologist Rod Hill is here with your weather headlines.
Good morning, and good morning to you at home. Well, we've been talking about this for days, and it has arrived, a very rainy Saturday, one of those steady rain days for probably at least about 6 hours before we start to see it break into scattered showers, so at some point this afternoon. We've got steady rain along the north coast. So far, we've had some rain, but not the main steady batch that's moved into the Portland area. So there's rain. Again, you can tell we're not in the steady batch yet. Salem currently dry, but here is what will be moving in and increasing into our area during the morning hours. Some pretty decent rain rates coming with that. So live cameras raining down in Newport. They've got south winds bouncing, gusting to 25 and a warm temp. 54 degrees. You often get some warming ahead of these cold fronts coming in. You can tell that's raining, I think, from the top of the Wells Fargo building. We're at 39 degrees, so chilly, wet morning. Again, some breaks in the rain around the region right now will quickly become, in the coming hours, nothing but steady, widespread rain. That will go into at least mid-afternoon. Temperatures upper 40s to maybe 50 for high. Now, Libby, this will be all rain for travelers this morning, but starting late today and this evening, snow down to Cascade Passes. Back to you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Rod. The St. Helens School District is launching an internal investigation into a misconduct scandal. District leaders say they want to find out who knew what and when. The sexual abuse investigation will be led by a former school superintendent. He'll do a deep dive, conducting interviews and reviewing documents, text messages, and email before issuing a report within 45 to 60 days.
That final report will be made public. I think it's important for our community to know that and to be able to see the details to the extent that we legally can put them in there.
The internal investigation will run parallel to the ongoing criminal investigation into 2 teachers and the high school principal. Choir teacher Eric Stearns and retired math teacher Mark Collins were both arrested on charges of sexually abusing students for years. Principal Catherine Wagner also faces charges for her role in the scandal. She allegedly failed her duty as a mandatory reporter by not forwarding reports of sexual abuse. All 3 have pleaded not guilty. Parks officials are warning people to keep an eye out at a Riverside Park in Salem. This comes after a cougar was caught on camera. Alma McCarty has more on what wildlife experts and city staff are saying about these sightings.
It's along the Willamette River, and it's a wildlife area.
As the sun sets in Salem's largest park.
So them moving along the river corridor wouldn't be uncommon.
Parks and Recreation staff urge visitors to be mindful after confirmed sightings and photo evidence of at least 1 cougar in the area. Trail cameras not far from the maintenance shed show the big cat in the park just this week.
Their primary game species is deer. So when deer are moving in the area, the cats will probably be on the move as well.
That's Matt Johnston, field supervisor for Salem's Parks Department, part of the team keeping an eye on the situation alongside ODFW.
It seems to be coming off of active deer trails. We hang cameras in areas where we're seeing high deer activity or a recent sighting.
Wildlife experts recommend you hike with a group, keep your dog on a leash, carry bear spray or an air horn, and stay on maintained trails.
If you encounter one, I would say, just stay calm, try to avoid the area, back out of the area if it's at a distance.
And if for some reason you meet one up close, maintain eye contact, make yourself big, and back away slowly. Minto Brown Park is closed after dark, and that's when officials say most of the sightings have occurred. In Salem, Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Investigators are working to figure out what sparked a deadly house fire in Vancouver Friday morning. The fire started around 2 a.m. near Northeast 81st Way and 101st. Once firefighters got a handle on the flames, they found a man unconscious inside who was not breathing. Unfortunately, medics were not able to save him. A devastating fire leaves an Oregon City woman without her home for the holidays. Now she's relying on the kindness of neighbors to help her start over. Celine Stevens shares her story and a safety reminder that comes with it.
This is what's left of Darlene Lidkey's RV. She's lived here for years until it was destroyed in a fire on Black Friday. Now she's staying with her neighbor as she tries to raise enough money to buy a new home.
It just went up so fast.
On November 29th, around 11 p.m., Darlene Lidkey says she turned on a propane heater in her RV. She says it was only on for a few minutes when it caught fire.
So I threw it out and I got the propane turned off, and then I got the hose disconnected and the fire started to go down. And I was like making sure it went down, and then I heard the popping behind me.
That popping coming from the fire spreading to the rest of her RV.
When I opened the door back up, it was just fully inflamed. I couldn't even get to my fire extinguisher, and since I didn't have the hot water hooked up, I didn't even have water.
She says she ran back inside to get her two cats, Pixie
Come here.
and Penny.
Okay. She comes out looking for Penny.
Pixie escaped. As for Penny,
there's no remains of her in there, so I think she got out too. I just haven't found her yet.
now she's struggling to figure out how to get rid of this RV and trying to raise money through a GoFundMe her son created for her to purchase a new RV.
I had a beautiful couch that I just found. I just wallpapered. I just finished wallpapering.
Although the case and its cause are still under investigation, the Clackamas Fire District says it's vital to follow all manufacturer instructions on these kind of appliances. Also, the size of a home where a propane appliance is being used matters too, as the limited air in the space can cause big problems. The fire district says the best thing to do if the fire is too big to be put out by an extinguisher is to get out and call 911.
Probably just best to use the furnace that comes with the RV, but I was getting that replaced too. So I think that's the lesson for people, is use what's supposed to be in there. Don't add things that aren't supposed to be in there.
In Oregon City, Celine Stevens, KGW News.
A retail theft mission this week in Portland ended with a nearly dozen arrests. The mission targeted businesses in downtown Portland and the Pearl that have dealt with chronic shoplifting. On Wednesday, police arrested 11 people suspected of stealing and recovered more than $2,000 in stolen merchandise. Police say they'll be working with the DA's office to make sure the suspects are prosecuted. Oregon's commercial Dungeness crab season is set to start December 16th after a roughly 2-week delay. This covers the area from Cape Falcon, that's about 10 miles south of Cannon Beach, to the California border. Testing in this region shows crab meat and acid levels meet thresholds needed to start the season. Commercial Dungeness crabbing on the northern Oregon and southern Washington coasts are still delayed until at least December 31st.